Welcome to the White House grounds. Greetings, I'm Honest Abe. I'm the president that faced the country's greatest crisis, the American Civil War. Let's talk about how this war got started. Many folks think that the Civil War was caused by slavery, and a goal on my part to abolish slavery. That is, however, not the true story. The Civil War did break out right after my election, but it is a product of economic differences in social and political structure, and the concept of states' rights. Slavery was, of course, embedded in the economic differences in states' rights. Slavery was doomed. The Industrial Revolution would have destroyed the economic foundation of slavery by 1880 anyway. It would have been nice to have figured out a gradual way to eliminate the concept. But by 1861, the social and economic differences between the two parts of the country were just too great, especially the states' rights issue. The states did not like the federal government to be able to dictate anything, and especially whether or not slavery was just. Sort of like today, when Congress tells the citizens in the states what type of light bulb they have to buy, how big the toilet tank should be in their house, or dictates a fine if your health care plan is too generous. It does seem to be a violation of states' and people's right to choose. Robert E. Lee chose Virginia and states' rights over the federal government. He never much cared for slavery. He fought for states' rights, not to keep folks enslaved. My goal was to preserve the Union. I would have done that with slavery, without slavery, or with slavery in some parts, but not others. I even tried to end the war through reconciliation with the southern states. The plan was to buy the slaves freedom. This plan would gradually have ended slavery. It also would have cost a lot less than the war. As the war dragged on into its second year, it was evident that no reconciliation was going to take place, and that the only way to win the war was to totally destroy the South. This was something that I had wished to avoid, but the rift was just too great. The war killed over 600,000 Americans and wounded over several million more. The southern lands ended up in ruins, and slavery was eventually eliminated. I created the Emancipation Proclamation, but primarily as a war measure. It was designed to get the South to think about reconciliation. They could still end the war and maybe keep slavery, but it actually hardened their resolve. It did do two positive things for the Union. We were able to recruit over 200,000 blacks into the Army and Navy, and it politically isolated the South from England. Clearly, England did not support slavery, and the Emancipation Proclamation did put the U.S. on the road to abolition. Many citizens still give me credit for ending slavery. I did put out that Emancipation Proclamation, but that just freed the slaves in the Southern Territory occupied by the Northern Army. It did not free the slaves in the border states that had not joined the South. Those states included Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, and Delaware. Slavery did not officially end in the United States until the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. That amendment was ratified on 6 December 1865. I was long gone by that time, as that nut Booth ended my day at Ford Theater on 14 April of 1865. We will need a couple of more sessions to hit the key points of the Civil War. Let's adjourn over to the Rose Garden and talk about the various strengths of the two sides. Click on the icon farther down in the matrix to pick up this discussion.